Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, your host, Jon Jordan. So today we are playing Treat Fighter. So Treat Fighter is the first game to be running on the XAYA blockchain. So in Blockchain Gaming World we've played a lot of blockchain games, vast majority, in fact all of them running on the Ethereum blockchain, so that's where most blockchain games are happening at the moment. As we know, kind of Ethereum and other similar blockchain variants, so kind of EOS, Neo, maybe Tron, those kind of things. They are general blockchain solutions that you can run dApps, distributed apps and games on. The XAYA blockchain is a little bit different. So coming at it from a more kind of, I guess we could say, kind of hardcore blockchain philosophy, it is a blockchain that is designed from the ground up to run games. So it actually has a lot of the kind of characteristics that you would see in something like a game that runs on Ethereum and then maybe uses Loom or POA or one of these other sidechain solutions. But XAYA has all that built into it from the ground up. So a kind of different kind of scenario. Still kind of fairly early in terms of the technology at the moment, and as I say, Treat Fighter is the first game to be running on the platform. So it's a bit of a, at the moment, it's kind of a bit of a prototype, bit of a kind of an alpha stage. Certainly there's not a lot of people playing it, so it doesn't have any of that kind of social elements that you would expect when the game gets more traction and when XAYA gets more traction. But let's go in and have a look, and we can kind of get to see how the kind of something running on XAYA, it runs a little bit different to kind of what we've seen, certainly in terms of browser-based games using MetaMask and running on the Ethereum blockchain. So here we go. So here is the kind of Treat Fighter screen. So I've been playing it for a few days now, so a few things going on we'll go into and have a look at in a minute. The first thing to note, let's kind of go across the kind of top of the screen. So actually, before we get on that, the first thing we have to say is to run this game you have to be connected to the XAYA blockchain. So you basically have to have the kind of wallet application which connects to the blockchain, and you have to sync your wallet to the blockchain. So very, very different to an Ethereum MetaMask thing where you basically just in Chrome browser, and then you just kind of sign into MetaMask, and then you're kind of up and running. This is a different sort of kind of technology. So we can see here anyway my account name at the top, so prestige and rank, kind of where I am in the game. Have crystals here, which is effectively the in-game currency, so a cross between soft and hard currency. So this is interesting here. So we have this one called Chi. So I've got one Chi here, and Chi is the blockchain token that XAYA uses. So exactly like Ether for Ethereum, this is the blockchain token, and you convert Chi into crystals. Obviously with any blockchain token, Chi can be taken out of your wallet and converted to fiat, all that kind of usual blockchain stuff. And here we have goodies. So goodies are, excuse me, effectively buffs. So we can have a look at that later. Because this is running on its own blockchain, we have this kind of nice little thing here. We can see the current block. Quite what that means, who knows? But we can see the current block. Let's start where we are. So expeditions. Expeditions are little quests that you send your Treat Fighters on. This game, I say, it kind of looks nice in terms of the we can see here the kind of graphics, but it is a menu-based game really. So there's no kind of gameplay graphics at all. It's very much, I guess, kind of inspired by that kind of the free-to-play meta-game type experience. So don't be expecting kind of amazing kind of gameplay action. Although obviously the game takes some elements of kind of RPGs in terms of the leveling up, but it's a blockchain game, so it's going to be a little bit different, and it's the first one on XAYA, so maybe that's why as well. So we can see here, I've only been playing for a few days, so I've been doing these kind of common expeditions. My Treat Fighters themselves, as we'll go and see, are not very powerful. So this idea of the sweetness is kind of an idea of kind of the ranking. So these are not too sweet; they're not very powerful. Expedition name. So this is interesting again. How many blocks did it take to complete these expeditions? So these expeditions are basically just ways of getting resources. You send your Treat Fighters if they have the right sweetness level, you send them on an expedition, and then you get resources. So let's see here, I've got some a candy button and whatever these ones are, gumballs, and I also got a recipe. Recipes are effectively our kind of blueprints for building new fighters. So claim my rewards. So very Street Fighter.
Street Fighter. Street Fighter.
Okay, so no exhibitions now. Let's go and have a look at my roster, shall we? Yeah, let's go and do that. So you can see here, just the menu there is just these kind of sweet, this kind of slightly dystopian sweet candy world. You can see this poor bear impaled on a spike. Anyway, so we can see here. So these are my my treat fighters for this account. So I mean, graphically, it is what it is. Basically, the same kind of model with just different kind of skins on. So I've got a camel kicker there. We can see here. We can see most of them are not too sweet. This one here is bittersweet. So he's a bit more. He's uncommon, I think. The other ones are common. We can see here a slight kind of idea of kind of leveling up as well. So this is kind of interesting here. Buttered Striker, 5 days remaining on the exchange. So you start off, you kind of create these treat fighters, you go out and do expeditions and you do tournaments and you collect the ingredients you need to make new ones by getting recipes. But it's a blockchain game, so big thing about blockchain is item ownership and the ability to trade items. So obviously we have an exchange. Because the game is really not even really beta, I don't think, kind of still alpha really, and there's not many people playing it. There's not a lot going on, but we can see here at least technically it works. Here's my Buttered Striker, here's his rating, here's his price, so it's priced in crystals, the in-game currency, ends in 5 days. I can cancel it if I want to, but I'm selling that one. And I can also see for sale other Street Fighters that are for sale. So we can see here Bashful Boxer, again not too sweet, so he's a common one, his ranking, his price ends in 3 days. If I want to, I can buy him. So we can scroll all the way down, usual kind of stuff. But the whole point about this is these all these Street Fighters are effectively data on the XAYA blockchain. I own them; they're attached to my account. I can go and sell them. Now, in this case, the price is in crystals, so the price is not in chi. So if the price was in chi, I could sell them and then cash that out. At the moment, these are in crystals, so this is like an in-game currency. So I can't go and if I sold my Buttered Striker, I would just get crystals that I could use in the game. I couldn't go and then cash that out. But obviously, that would be a possibility if the game was made using chi directly as a currency. There's the exchange. Let's kind of look at the pantry. So the pantry is kind of where the action happens. This is kind of the core of the game, really. So we can see here, these are all the candy I've collected, effectively ingredients. We can see here there's some recipes. So Blackberry Fighter, Tricky Runner. So Tricky Runner, missing ingredients here, so I need 20 of those ring pops. I don't think I have any ring pops. The Flying Breaker, similarly. I need 20 ring pops. Oh, I don't have, I need 20 of everything. Sugar Glaze and non-parel. So I only have 5 of those, need 20 of those. So we can see here a lot of collection to go on to get, and these are still common ones, these are not the valuable ones. But this one here, Sugary Sundae, I've been cooking that one up, so go and collect my Sugary Sundae. There he is, in all his glory. So if I go back to my roster, where will I have, where is he? There's my Sugary Sundae. So that all works. Anything we haven't looked at now is tournaments. So tournaments are where you basically group. They're kind of a bit like expeditions, to be honest. As I say, you don't have any graphical thing going on here. But we can see here this one, the first one here, the chocolate chip Pee-wee Cup. I need 4 of my Street Fighters to be selected to go into that, and it needs to have 3 teams in there. So at the moment there's only 2 teams in there. Oh, probably 1 team in there. So and it takes 30 blocks for that to complete. So I don't know if you noticed the block counter going up there. So what can we do? Let's do this one, because this one's a bit easier. Only 2 and these 2 teams. So let's do this one. So this will show me all the ones I can add. So let's just very simply add those in. Join now. So you notice I'm not using any currency doing this stuff. The currency is used for specific in the terms of the pantry. So if I went back to the pantry, if I've got any ingredients, I could, so this one, if I did the Blackberry Fighter, I could open, I can see what moves he's got, I can see what ingredients I'm going to use, cook now, so that's going to take me 15 crystals. So that's costing me currency. It's not costing me hard currency in terms of the chi, it's costing me this kind of effectively the soft currency. So what else can we do? So we've got the tournaments going on, so you obviously want to keep stuff going on. to give you some more resources. So let's go and have a look. I went a bit quick there. So here's a common reward quality, bittersweet. So not the easiest one, but a bittersweet one. It's going to take 30 blocks instead of 15. I've only got one of my treat fighters is only the bittersweet level, so I can go and send him or her or it. I don't know. And then just who else have I got left? Let's go and get them doing stuff, because the whole point is to be collecting resources. So basically that's everyone. So if I go back to my roster now, they should all be doing stuff. So you can see here, 5 days on that one. This one's waiting for players. This one's preparing for travel, waiting for the blocks effectively. So so far so good, you might be saying. You know, it's not the most interesting game in the world ever, but it is very different, I think, to say a CryptoKitties or even like an Ethereum. Just in terms of you're seeing how the block works. You're waiting for the blocks to kind of close. That might not be the greatest thing in the world, but for certain other games, or certain games that have been other games being announced for XAYA, that will potentially play a bit more into the gameplay for, say, more obvious turn-based games. But nice thing here, so that's my account name up here, but equally I have another account name, so I can just, if I want to, I can just create another account. So there we go. So this is my other account. I can add more accounts if I want to. I mean, obviously you're kind of spreading your resources. In terms of if I want more crystals, if I want to add more crystals, I'll be spending chi. So for every account you do need some crystals. So you know, but what I can do here, just clear up these expeditions. So I just
Street Fighter. Street Fighter.
Pantry from this one. Missing ingredients all the way around. So my roster is I've only got these 2 guys. But what did I do in that other account name? I had a tournament going, but I was waiting for someone to go and play. So here we go. You can see this one, the chocolate chip training round. So that was my other teams in there, and just waiting for another team so I can go in and do that. So there we go. I can add these 2 in, and off they go. So now 15 blocks remaining. I mean, this is a slightly geeky thing, but it kind of appeals to me. So if I go back into the other account, I can see now we've filled this one up, the chocolate chip training rounds, and 15 blocks remaining. So there we go. Treat Fighter. So I would say, you know, it is for someone, if you're into blockchain games, it's a very interesting experience, very different. It's not the easiest thing in the world. I mean, I have to probably do another video about how to set up your XAYA account. It's like any other kind of a wallet, effectively, but you have to actually download the PC client, and you have to wait for it to kind of sync up. And it is, I don't know. I mean, it's different to MetaMask. I wouldn't say it's worse or better than MetaMask. It's probably less accessible than MetaMask, but you do get this very different experience because all the time you're kind of looking for the blocks and seeing what's going on. So there we go. Treat Fighter, interesting. I'm kind of slightly at the moment addicted to it, which is odd because, as you can see, there's no gameplay. With all these kind of things, you know, there is this kind of idea that you're kind of you know, to unlock new recipes and get new characters, even though they kind of effectively there's not a lot of difference between them. It somehow still appeals to me, but there again, I'm playing blockchain games, so maybe that's why. Should say the other thing with XAYA is the other game they've announced is a soccer management game, so we can kind of see how a blockchain game or a soccer management turn-based soccer management game where you're kind of you know, training up footballers, putting them in a team, and they're playing the game. You can kind of see how turns kind of work, maybe potentially a bit more kind of holistically for that kind of game. So I think that's coming out towards the end of 2018. I think certainly they'll be trying an alpha out at some point in 2018. Probably game won't go live properly in 2019, but we can kind of start to get an idea now how the XAYA blockchain is doing stuff a little bit different to the other games we've seen, at least so far, on other blockchains. So anyway, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Channel's all about blockchain games, so that's what we like to play. Obviously an emerging market, lots of things happening, so pretty fascinating most of the time. So please do subscribe, and hope to see you again soon.